Homesteading is a lifestyle choice. Whether you have a large or small space, you can move towards self-sufficiency. Start with what you need and add more as you can. Start small and grow in confidence. Start with the basics and increase your knowledge. At Bryant's Roost, we believe in sustainability, education, and forward momentum. Follow us on our journey for tips, hacks, and insights. We can grow together.
These brooders are amazing. I couldn't be happier with this company.
We absolutely love these cages.
One at a time, okay, guys? Hey guys, welcome to Coturnix Corner Live. Glad everyone could join us. Just a little bit. I know it's been a while since our last live stream. But we've had a lot going on here at the house. We've had company in from out of town. We actually still have a sister-in-law that's down right now. She's staying up with her brother, but she's going to be back here next week or the following week after that. But anyhow, that's the reason for the lack of live streams. Like I say, we've been really busy around here with company coming and going and whatnot. So, but I did want to go live tonight. I've got some announcements that I need to make. And we're going to go ahead and hold a couple giveaways. And I didn't want to wait another week or two, to get these announcements out there. So we're going to go live tonight. It'll be a short one, but at least we can get you guys updated with what's going on in the channel and, do some giveaways and whatnot. So first off, and again, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this is not the normal background. This is my computer room, but it is now a guest bedroom because my wife took the room from me. So, but you got to do what you got to do, I guess. Okay, as I was saying earlier, shout out to our channel sponsors. We have Hatching Time, and all these sponsors donate gifts to give away to you guys here on the live streams. Like I say, Hatching Time, they donate a $50 Hatching Time gift certificate. Thieving Otter Farm donates, it's either a 20 or a 30 count of hatching eggs. Gopher Ridge Quail Farm has a 30 count, and also Bryant's Roost donates a 30 count to give away. And I think what we're going to do tonight, guys, just because it's been so long since our last live, we're going to go ahead and give away it'll be 3 sets of hatching eggs and a $50 gift certificate from Hatching Time. So we're going to have 4 winners tonight. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. If you guys are interested in being considered for the giveaways, comment over in the chat room, giveaway, and that way I can just go through and pick 4 winners out of those who comment. If you have, been selected before or multiple times, don't comment. Let's give a few other people the opportunity. Let's see. Oh, we're also going to be announcing the winner of April's Coturnix Kids Project from over on the CoturnixCorner.com website. So we'll do that tonight here in a little bit. What else? Oh, the Terry Baiter kits. I had a few people contact me about those. They've been off the website for about a week now, and I just put them back on. The DIY incubator kits are available. We had some issues getting material and boxes for shipping, So they are now back on the website, which is gulfcoastquail.com. Check that out if you're interested. We've got a lot of, don't forget to read the reviews, guys, when you're over there, because we have a lot of people who are, writing up reviews, the successful hatches, how easy these things are to put together. And I see it all the time over on Facebook and CoturnixCorner.com. People are always asking, what's a decent, inexpensive incubator to get started with. And these little DIY boxes, they're simple to build. They're very inexpensive. And they do a really good job of hatching out eggs. So, and not just Coturnix eggs. I mean, people use them for, chicken eggs, quail eggs. One person said they were hatching out emu eggs, ducks. So, yeah, the incubator does work. Let's see. We've been doing this thing on our live streams when we go live. It's like a little farm intro thing. I don't like that. I'm on my laptop. I don't have my camera set up. Nothing's set up in here, guys. That's why it's kind of funny looking. But we've been doing a thing on the channel called Farm Intro. And what we do is we select a new farm, a farm that we think is an up-and-coming farm, and we bring them on the live stream and let them explain to you guys what they've got going on, what they're breeding, if they plan on selling stuff, just so you guys have other ideas of what's out there, and not just our channel sponsors. I mean, they're all great quail egg producers, and they do, they have some of the best lines in the U.S., but we're trying to give the little guy, a chance to get their name out there and whatnot. I didn't have anyone selected yet for today, but we do have one of our members. His name is Andrew Clemens, and he is a member over on the Coturnix Corner Facebook group. And he sent me some feeders that you guys can use to make feeders out of. I guess they're the feeder cones. He prints these up on his 3D printer. And what you do is you get your container, whatever you want to use, you cut a hole that size in it and stick this thing in there, and then the chicks go through this end. And he's got multiple sizes. He sent me this bigger one. This, I guess, would be for adult quail. And then this little one would be for, younger chicks. He does have an Etsy store, and I'm going to go ahead and post the link to the Etsy store over on the Facebook group page. I'll also post it over on CoturnixCorner.com if you guys want to check it out. Like I say, they seem to be really well built. I mean, they're sturdy, very sturdy, and looks like he did a good job printing them. So he's got, like I say, on his Etsy store, he's got some demo pictures on there on how to do it and whatnot. So check that out, Andrew Clemens. Let's see. We already got that. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, guys, for those of you who are members of the CoturnixCorner.com website, the community site over there, we've been having some issues with the server. I don't know exactly what it is. It seems that sometimes the domain can't be found and you're getting an error page. I don't know what's causing it. I've called our my web host, and they're saying no, we haven't had any downtime. So it's either something to do with the script or something to do with the DNS when it's calling up the website, because it's bringing up a blank page. So I don't know. But anyhow, if you go there and you can't get it, and this is what's really weird, is I've had it come up on one computer and not come up on another computer. So I think it's something to do with the DNS and where it's pulling the DNS from, or where it's trying to pull the files from. I'm not 100% sure on that, but anyhow, we're working on it and we will get it straightened out. Let's see. For those of you who are kind of like playing games and stuff when it comes to Coturnix, Rebecca Lynch from Thieving Outer Farms does a thing I think it's once a month. I don't think it's once a week. I think it's once a month. She does this thing on her Facebook page called Quail Poop Bingo, and I sat in on it on the last one. It's kind of interesting, and it's really neat. I mean, they have a lot of people that go in there, and she's giving away a lot of prizes and whatnot for people that get the Quail Poop Bingo. So check that out. I believe it's on her Thieving Otter Farm Facebook page. And another thing, I was over on Facebook. This has happened twice in the past couple weeks. People are asking for recommendations for breeders. Now on Coturnix Corner Facebook, we don't allow any sales of hatching eggs or any inquiries for people that are selling hatching eggs, just because we don't want it to get filled up, and look like a big long classified ad site or whatever. But for those of you who are over on Facebook and you're wondering, like, who I recommend, I can say any of our sponsors. You see them right there on the screen: Thieving Otter Farm, Bryant's Roost, Gopher Ridge, Naomi over here at Kansas City Quail is excellent. But there are also a lot of smaller breeders if you want to try a smaller breeder. And like I say, we do have a video on the channel. It's recommended breeders list for 2024, and check that out. So those are all the people that I would recommend. But that's also why I'm doing the farm intros, to let you guys get a little bit of an idea of who else besides our sponsors and the people on the recommended breeders list are selling. All right, let me see. I think that's about it for all the announcements. So what I do want to do is go ahead and bring up the winner of the Coturnix Kids program for April. I don't know if they're in the house tonight. I kind of hope they are, but I wasn't able to get a hold of the parents. But I'm going to go ahead and run it anyhow, because I don't want to get too far behind on that program. So I'm going to have to pull it up on this screen over here, but I'm going to put it up here for you guys so you can read along with me. If I can find it, there it is. And I'll pull it up over here so I can read it, because it's really small on that computer. Okay, this month's winner, her name is Claire. And Claire writes, I am 10 years old and live in California. 4 months ago, I adopted some quail from my class at school. It was the first time I've ever had pet quail. I learned a lot about them and loved them. Their names are Cassette, I hope that says Cassette, Fontaine, Rose, Peck, Potato, and Charlie. They all each have unique personalities, and they were different colors. Charlie had blue eyes. Peck was the smartest of them all. But when I woke up on Valentine's Day, every single one of them were gone, and it was a pile of feathers, and there was a pile of feathers on the ground. Those feathers belonged to Peck and Charlie. We found several wing joints as well. We think a predator got into the cage. We were devastated. It was officially the worst Valentine's Day ever. I never want the same thing to happen to another quail again. So me and my mom are building a cage that is stronger and more secure than the cage we bought. I think the quail should be able to feel safe in our cage. We have been working on it a little bit at a time for over a month, and we should be finished in a few weeks. I think it would be a good idea to share our eggs with our neighbors, and we can help other people when we get new quail. I have other friends that want quail too, so I can teach them how to take care of the quail, like teaching them how much light you would need in order for the quail to lay. I could also teach them that quail love fresh worms, herbs, and kale. They also love sand. The quail love to lay their own eggs in the same nest. They usually lay at night too. In conclusion, that's how I would like to help people with their quail. And then you can see there's a couple pictures of Claire. Looks like she's got a little palm sander and has helped sanding down the wood on her cage. So Claire, congratulations. Let me see where I'm at here. Right there. Congratulations, Claire. We've got some really neat prizes that we are going to be sending you. Let's see if I can find that. Here we go. You are going to get a bag of feed from Homestead Harvest. You're going to get a 2-unit quail cage from Hatching Time. You're going to get an incubator, coming from Bryant's Roost, some hatching eggs coming from Thieving Otter Farm. You're going to get a $25 Tractor Supply gift certificate and a waterer, feeder, and some quail egg scissors from Sunny Place Homestead. And then we are going to make you up a Coturnix Kids Program Winners Cup, which will have your name and whatnot on it. So again, Claire, congratulations. I am, like I said earlier, I am still waiting for your shipping information from your mom. But as soon as I get that, we will start getting all that stuff out to you. And we're not going to ship the eggs to you until you've got all your other equipment. That way you can get all set up, and then we'll send the eggs out, and you can go ahead and start incubating them. All right, now where am I here? This is totally new to me, guys. My whole station was set up to where I had my cameras, my lights, my microphones, everything. I had a little switchboard that I could change scenes with, and now everything is. I'm working off 2 laptops, so bear with me if I do something stupid. I think that's about it for the announcements. If you guys have any questions regarding any of that stuff, just let me know over in the comments section. I'm just gonna real quick run through and see who all's in the house tonight. I can't. Oh yeah, I can. I can do it from the screen. Let's see. Emma Ball's in the house. Says good evening, everyone. TSK Quails is in the house. Says hello. Steve G's in the house. Says hey everyone. Yes, Waisaki says hey all quail friends. Frederick Orcult's in the house. A little waving there. Glad you could join us, Frederick. Joy Guthrie's in the house. Says hello from Western Oregon. Quail Ridge Ranch says hello everyone. Emma says didn't know we were on tonight. Glad I caught it. Yeah, it was kind of a last minute thing for me, Emma. I'm going to be honest with you guys, for probably the rest of April, it's going to be hit or miss with the live streams. I haven't even done a Morning Musings live stream, which is our Sunday live stream. Like I say, we've got company and I got a lot of stuff going on. I am trying to get something set up for quail. I need to start, hatching out some eggs and whatnot. 1, because I need them for, making video content. But 2, I haven't had a quail egg breakfast in, a couple months now. So I've got to get me something set up out back, a cage. My chickens are all in the aviary, so I don't want to put the quail in there. But yeah, I gotta get going on this stuff. Iva's in the house. Says hello all. Olive's in the house. Says hey from Cali. What a pleasant surprise. Glad you could join us, Olive. Quails, Bees, and Gardens says hello, Terry and Chet. Glad you could join us. Ban Garcia 3.0 is in the house. Peace, everyone. Dragon Girl says hi, everyone. Samantha Stratton's in the house. Says hello from Michigan. Just hatched our midget white turkeys, smaller than your typical broad-breasted breeds. So the incubator is available for quail. Cool. I'm actually taking my Rhode Island Reds. They've been laying now for probably a good month, and I just started collecting today. I think I'm going to try to hatch out a round of Rhode Island Red chicks. James Butler says hello from North Carolina. Glad you could join us, James. Mystical Cat 713 says hello from East Texas. Glad you could join us. TSK Quail says giveaway. Yeah, guys, if you want to be in the giveaway, comment in the chat room giveaway, and we will put you in the running for our giveaways tonight. Brad at Be a Blessing Farm says hello from North Carolina. Seems to me I heard of that Be a Blessing Farm, maybe on one of the bee channels over on Facebook, the bee groups. Okay, a lot of people commenting giveaway. Tony Dunn says hello from Hobbs, New Mexico. Hold on, guys, I got to get a drink. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my cough isn't near as bad as it was in the past few weeks. I actually got sick about a month ago. I got sick, just common cold, and got over that. But it was funny. After the cold was over with, I had this tickle in my throat that just would not go away. And I kind of determined that was postnasal drip. But then company comes down from Michigan, and they brought a different variant of that virus, and I got sick again. So it's same thing, pretty much the same symptoms and everything. But yeah, it was terrible. But I pretty much got rid of the cough, except when I talk way too much. But I think a lot of it was due to seasonal allergies or something. There's a lot of stuff blooming right now. Olive says, thank you, Terry and sponsors, for being here and the giveaways. Absolutely. Hey, Bob Cole's in the house. Says, howdy from Western New Mexico. Glad you could join us. Andy Rabbit's in the house. Says, hello. Glad you could join us, Andy. And right when I say I'm not coughing as much, I start coughing. Gina says, so excited to see you on. I was having Coturnix Corner withdrawals. Yeah, and I get, not a ton, but I do get emails from people wondering, are you going live tonight? Or are you going, texting me and whatnot. So, Dane's in the house. Says hello from Georgia. Donald Swore says, just joining. Did I miss much? No, not really. Just a bunch of announcements. So just trying to get you guys caught up and get me caught up on some of the stuff that I'm behind on. Bob said ports work well and greatly reduce waste. Tried the 2-inch, too big. 1.5 seems to be good for me, and 1 inch might even be better. Yeah, I don't know what size these are. I guess this one here looks maybe like 1.25 inches. I don't think it's quite 1.5 inches. Maybe it's only 1 inch. I don't know. But like I say, he's got multiple sizes, so for those that are interested, you can check it out. Snow Grower, hello from Minnesota. Zen, okay, talking about the giveaway. Tap the thumbs up, folks. Thank you, Bob. Tony's in the house. Says hi from Toronto. Glad you could join us, Tony. Olive says, made quail soup the other day from a bully, and it was the best soup ever. Yeah, they are. All right, a whole bunch of people saying congratulations to Claire. Absolutely. That was a nice write-up that Claire sent in. So, Steve says, whoop, whoop. Congratulations, Claire. Great job, Claire. Nuno. Hope I said that right. Fairhaven, Massachusetts. Glad you could join us. Maury Straubel's in the house. Good evening, everyone. Glad you could join us tonight, Maury. Maury was on our last Coturnix Corner Live with Rebecca Lynch. He was one of our farm intros. West Michigan quail, I believe it is. Adam Foster says, hi, everyone. Adam from Canada, Ontario. Ontario, Canada. Okay. Glad you could join us, Adam. Kelly says, my first Coturnix hatch is due on 4/20. And today is the 9th, so cool. Congratulations. Got a few days left. Andrew Abbott says, my hacking is mostly gone now, thank goodness. Yeah, mine too. And you know what I did for mine, Andy, was one, I was drinking a lot of mullein tea, but also I bought some bee propolis spray. Man, when I sprayed that in my throat, it just calmed everything right down, and yeah, it was nice. Angela Metcalf says, had a poor hatch rate with leaving out her farm. Bummed only 6 hatch, 5 made it out of 13. We've always had 100% hatch rates with Southwest game birds in the past. Any suggestions? First off, I would not think that it's breeder related. Most of the times when you have an issue like that, something happened during shipping that made the eggs non-viable. I've seen it a million times, and I've got eggs. I've had several times eggs were shipped to me from Michael, Southwest Game Birds out in Arizona, and I've had hatch rates as high as 80%. I've also had 15, 20% hatch rates, and the first thing that I look at is the shipping. I mean, I know my incubator set up correctly and whatnot. I always, you know, fire up my incubators a couple days early just to do a test run on them. So, yeah, first off, I don't know what you were using for an incubator. I don't know. Well, you said you've had previous hatch rates which were good. So, if it wasn't an incubator issue, then I would definitely lean towards it being a shipping issue. And you know, shipped eggs are a gamble. You know, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. You know, other than don't give up and just keep trying. But I definitely would not blame the breeder for this, especially thieving out her farm. I know Rebecca real well. I know how she ships, and I know her fertility rates are always, you know, way up there. So, Ava says, I hope I said that right. My second hatch began just this morning. Cool, congratulations. Oh, my nose is tickled. Buck Reynolds says, hello, first time being on here, just trying to learn about quail. Cool, Buck. Well, you're in the right spot. Coturnix Corner has a ton of videos on the channel that you can go through and watch. A lot of great information. And don't forget to watch some of the live streams where we have special guests that come on and talk, because they are a wealth of information. Best place to learn from. Carl says hi from Texas. Glad you could join us, Carl. Donald says, anyone else notice their birds acting differently when storms roll through? Ours seem to love the sound of rain. Gives us extra eggs as long as I remember to put the tarp down. I've never really noticed it. I mean, I've had birds actually, you know, I won't say go off lay, but kind of throw off their laying when we had like severe weather, like when the hurricanes roll through. That might knock them back for a day or two, but yeah, no, I've really never noticed it. But cool. Anthony says, I picked up a quail that looks like a white Tibetan. A white Tibetan. Well, it's most likely, depending on how white it is, it's most likely a dotted white. That you could, if you look at the dot on them, you can tell what the base color is. Andrew Abbott says, I use bee venom cream. It's fully edible. I should try that. Yeah, I've never tried the cream. Like I say, the propolis. I actually ordered propolis from a guy out west to use in my swarm traps. You know, you melt it down and put it in the swarm traps, and it kind of attracts the scout bees. But I talked to a couple of people who said, you know, try the propolis spray. And I was kind of hesitant at first, but I'll be darn sure right if it didn't work. Angela says, Nurture at 360, same as we've always used, had it running a days ahead. I did think it was due to shipping, just bummed. Yeah, I can hear you. It would bum me out too. The Nurture Right 360, I'm going to be honest with you, Angela, is probably one of the poorest incubators that you can buy for hatching out quail eggs. I did a review of the Nurture Right 360 here on the channel, and I will tell you it wasn't a very positive review, but I've had them before. I actually had 5 of them given to me when I first got into quail, and I used them maybe 2 or 3 times, and I ended up putting them on the shelf just because I had a lot better success with other models. It's just, I'm not going to say that they won't hatch eggs, but they're very non-consistent when it comes to like temperature and humidity and stuff. It doesn't always stay the same. Everybody that I've talked to that uses 360s, once they've gone to something else, they never look back at the 360s. So I don't mean to cut down your incubator. It's just I'm not a big fan of them. Anthony says, I'm sort of new, but it has a black and white pattern like a Tibetan. It's probably, it sounds to me like you're describing a tuxedo. Tibetan is basically, it's an EB. It's carrying 2 copies of the EB gene. So when you say a pattern like a Tibetan, if it's black and white, it's most likely, it could be, you know, a Tibetan tuxedo is what you have, very possibly. Okay, Yes Waisaki says, Just had 29 hatch of 37. Happy with it. Now I must choose which to cull and make room. Love my quail. I hear you. That is one of the biggest things, especially if you're breeding, for any type of, quality or any standard. Yeah, culling is the way to go. And you need to cull to have a good line. You need to cull and cull heavily. Okay, Gina says my first quail eggs are also in the incubator. Excited to be part of the quail community. Cool. Hope you have a good hatch and welcome to the community. Joe Rude Music says I have my first round of 63 in the incubator. 2 days in, couldn't be more excited. Thanks for the knowledge you share. Absolutely. Is this your? Oh, this is your first round of incubator. So cool. Well, good luck on your hatch. If you have any questions, head on over to Coturnix Corner Facebook group. A lot of people over there that can help you out. And hopefully help you get a better hatch. Tommy Jackson's in the house. Is hi from Kello. I don't even know how that is. British Columbia. Cool. Glad you could join us, Tommy. All right. I knew tonight was going to be a short night just because, people aren't expecting us to go live, especially when you miss multiple live streams. People don't expect you to, they're thinking, oh, he's probably not live today either. So, yeah, that's my fault because normally we have about twice the amount of people that are in here. But, hopefully we'll get things back on track here by the end of April and get things going the way they should be. And especially my Sunday morning live streams, I feel really bad about missing those. Ava says, I hoarded eggs for 5 days and have them going into the incubator tonight. Will they have that much of a staggered hatch or my normal 3 days? No, if you collected all your eggs and did not put, you put them all in at the same time, they're going to hatch at the same time. Now, if you've been placing in eggs, 3 days and then, or, put in eggs 1 day, wait 3 days and put in more, then yeah, you are going to get a staggered hatch. But I would recommend just collecting for up to 7 to 10 days till you get the amount of eggs you want. Then place them in the incubator. That way everything hatches together, and it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to worry about, opening up the incubator and shrink wrapping some and whatnot. So, see, Brad says, I'm putting some propolis traps. Oh, what happened to my thing here? On my hives after the supers come off this year. I was going to try that. I actually had an issue with my bees last year. I lost a few hives. So anyhow, I said I wasn't going to buy any more hives or any more colonies. And then I thought, well, if I can catch, a few swarms, I'll get back into that way. So knock on wood, it's been a pretty good year for me. I've already got 2 swarms, and I have to go out tomorrow, I believe it is, and pick up a nuke from a friend of mine. And yeah, that should get me back in the game. So yeah, I was gonna do propolis traps last year. I just never had the chance to do it. Andy Rabbit says I check every once in a while. I know you do, Andy. If you're talking about the morning live streams, you always send me an email or a message and says, "Are you going live?" And I promise you guys, I will be getting this stuff straightened back out again. I just got to get April out of the way, and hopefully things will be working the way they're supposed to. Donald says, can anyone recommend an incubator that's not overly expensive but can hold 30-ish eggs? Yeah, look up the Brinzies or the Baratos. They're not real expensive. I think you can get a Lumia 8. That only holds 24 eggs, I think. Or a Lumia 16, which will hold, 16, 32, 64 eggs maybe. But anyhow, those are pretty good. The Baratos, or not the Baratos, but Brinzies, they're really reliable. and I think you can get a small enough one to where you can put 25 to 30 eggs in there. Unless you, well, you actually, I was going to say, if you're handy, you could build your own, the DIY boxes we got, but that's actually a little bit overkill for you because the smallest box we have does 120 eggs and the bigger one does 240, so that probably wouldn't work too well for you. Found one that works. Says, I received a vet report for the eggs I ordered from one of your recommended breeders. I have always bought local. Is this normal? What do you mean you received a vet report for the eggs that you ordered from one of the... I don't understand what you're saying by received a vet report. Yeah, if you could clarify that, because I mean, buying local is actually the best thing you can do because then you avoid the shipping. But for all of the breeders that I recommend, they are at the top of their line. They're all NPIP, so you shouldn't have had any issues. But let me know what you mean by you received a vet report. I didn't know vets made reports on quail eggs. Anthony says, yep, it's black dots on white with a white patch under the chin. I was labeled as a pearl, but maybe that was the parents. That I would like to see a picture of because I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about now, especially when you say that the parents were pearl. You should have got pearl. Kyle says, hey, Terry, lockdown's on Thursday. Hoping for a great hatch. What happened to that thing? Hoping for a great hatch rate this weekend. Yeah, hopefully you will. Tommy Jackson says, yep, Lumia 16 holds 64 eggs. So there you go. Maurice has got 96 eggs in the Terry baiter for the first hatch in it. Cool. Let me know how the hatch goes and, how well it's holding humidity and stuff like that. You could always leave a review over on the channel, too, if you're up to it. All right, where are we? Donald says, thank you. My current incubator is self-made from a cheap 12-egg incubator that is heated by a heat lamp hanging over it and sitting in a cardboard box. Whatever works. I've seen people do that. I've seen people take eggs and put it, they got a desk lamp, the little kind that kind of hangs over, and they adjust it, the height to, the level that holds the eggs at the temperature that they need. Just like I say, put the heat lamp where it needs to be, and yeah, I've seen eggs hatch out that way. So whatever works, right? Okay, Quail Ridge Ranch says, I had a 90% hatch rate with Nurture Right 360. Do you think humidity within your house could be an issue with these incubators? No, not for me. And it wasn't the humidity that was an issue with me. It was issues with the way they turn the eggs. Because, you put multiple eggs in one of those little slots and... Watch the video on the channel. The video is Nurture Right 360. Is it right for you? I don't have issues with humidity because Florida has very high humidity, and I always do a dry hatch up until lockdown, which is when I add water. It's just the Nurture Right 360 is more of a novelty incubator that was made by Harris Farms for hatching out chicken eggs. And when I say novelty, it's because, the dome type incubators where you got 360-degree view, it's kind of like for a classroom incubator where you set some chicken eggs and the class can watch as these chicken eggs hatch. Like I say, they will hatch eggs. I know, hundreds and hundreds of people that said, yeah, I've used a 360 and I've always got good hatch rates. I'm not saying that they won't hatch eggs. They're just not optimal, I guess you'd say, for hatching out quail. And as far as, when you put them in comparison to a very similar built incubator, by similar, I mean plastic body incubators, the Brinzies and the Baratos, even a cheap Chinese one that I reviewed here on the channel outperformed the Nurturite 360. There's just, like I say, watch that video. There's probably 5 or 6 different things that I pointed out that really need to be addressed for that to be a reliable incubator. Let's see. Dane says, "Hey Terry, I was having issues with my rollout, so I put all my breeders in an aviary and watch my hatch rate, and my hatch rate drastically lowered. How much can I clean the eggs without losing the bloom?" You can wipe them down with like a paper towel, just real lightly. You don't want to wash them or anything. If you're having an issue in your aviary because of it being dirty, I don't think that's the issue, because I've had really dirty eggs hatch out. The problem with the aviary is you have so much room. Your males, it's basically your ratio, your square footage of floor space. Your male doesn't get to breed with every single female because they've got so much room that they can get away from the roosters. I would think that's most likely what your issue is, not a issue of like bacterial intrusion into the egg or whatever. The only other thing I could suggest, if you think that that's what it is, keep your flooring changed out often. Keep it really clean, or even put maybe a sandbox in there. A lot of times I notice when you have an area with a sandbox in it, the quail will lay in the sand before they'll lay anywhere else. So give that a shot. But I think it's more of an issue with the number of birds that you have per square foot. Your hens just aren't getting bred. Kyle says, "My farm innovators from Baumgars has done very well for me. Great hatch rate every time." Yeah, I'm not real familiar with farm innovators. Is that the styrofoam incubator, the little square styrofoam one? I'm not real familiar with those. I did use one at a time when I was keeping reptiles, but I've never hatched out bird eggs in it. Robin says, "Do jumbo hatch the same time with a standard sized quail egg? Tried last time, did not have a good turnout for the jumbo opposed to the SSSS and from mine." Yeah, they're gonna hatch around day 17, 18, depending on your incubator temperature. I've never noticed any difference in standard size quail to jumbo quail as far as hatch time. I don't know. Are you saying that you got some of Rebecca's lines, the super secret something, and did not get a very good hatch rate compared to your eggs? Is that what I'm reading? If so, I would say that that's more than likely going to be shipping related. Fred's in the house. Says hello from North Carolina. Glad you could join us, Fred. Frederick says, "I've considered the Vivor incubator versus a DIY, but haven't pulled the trigger yet. I'm a little worried about the Chinese-made products and live animals." I hear you on that one. Frederick, what I would do is I would look at how serious you are going to be when it comes to like hatching. Are you going to be hatching eggs all the time? Or is this going to be just, once in a great while, you're going to throw a few eggs in there? If that's the case, I would go with a cheaper one. If you want to spend a little bit more money, you're going to have, I think, better results as far as hatch rates and that go. But if hatching isn't a big deal to you, and you can every other month or something, just set a few eggs and hope you get some to hatch, then yeah, you could probably get by with a cheaper one. But I hate to say that, because usually it's always no, buy what you can afford, the better incubator, because if you get better hatch rates, you're going to want to hatch more. I see a lot of people that they get poor hatch rates, they get discouraged, and some people just quit hatching birds out altogether, quit quail altogether. So yeah, I would definitely buy the best that you can afford. Quails, Bees, and Garden says, hello, do you still have your aviary using the deep litter method? I do. I have 4 Rhode Island Red chickens out there right now, and they love it. I mean, I just about every 6 months I'll take another bag of pine shavings, spread that across the top, let them kind of mess that. They'll dig it in and whatnot. But yes, I'm still using the deep litter method. I do need to clean it out though, because I plan on moving my aviary to the other side of the yard here, probably this week sometime. Jeff says, hi from Missouri. Got dotted white eggs in lockdown right now. Cool. Congratulations. Okay, Robin says, hold on, I got to go back there. Do jumbos hatch the same time? Okay, yes. Tried last time. Did I have a good turnout? Okay, so Robin, what you're saying is you had just problems with the jumbos. Um, and I'm taking it that the jumbos were the shipped eggs. If that's the case, I would blame the shipping. I, to be honest with you, I can't possibly imagine that Rebecca would send out eggs that are not going to give you decent hatch rates. I know for a fact she doesn't. She checks fertility all the time. So, um, yeah, I would think that that's more of a shipping related issue. Oh, Laviathan. Oh, sorry, I butchered your name. James. And one of your previous videos, I think you mentioned trying out a 50-watt heating element over a bulb. Did you ever try that, and what was your results? We did, James. As a matter of fact, we are now recommending for the DIY boxes to go with a 75-watt ceramic heating element made for reptiles. Those are a direct replacement for the 75-watt incandescent bulb. No, I'm sorry. Those are a direct replacement for the 100-watt incandescent, or not incandescent, halogen bulbs. The 100-watt halogens are actually a 72-watt equivalent. So a 75-watt ceramic will work in its place. The only thing I don't like about the ceramics is you can't see when they are kicking on and off like you can with the lights. And I really like a visual, cue that, okay, the incubator's working. So, I don't know, I guess you could rig up some type of like a tattletale bulb or something in there. But yeah, if you want to use the 75-watt ceramic heating elements, those work just fine. Quail Ridge Ranch is definitely going to check out the incubator you recommend. Nurture Right 360 doesn't hold many eggs, even when replacing the egg tray with the quail one from Amazon. Yeah, it all depends on how serious you want to get with quail. If it's just something, you want to throw a few eggs in the incubator now and then, a Nurture Right 360 will work fine for that. And I know a lot of people say, why are you always coming down on the 360s? I had 5 of them here, and I tested all 5 of them and got the same results. It's just, if you watch the video on the channel, you'll see that they do have issues. Anthony says, if a quail regrows a feather, will it look like the one it's lost? I would imagine so. I've never really looked at it that close to see. I'm sure it does, yeah. Harry says, greetings from Tucson, Arizona. Going to try raising Texas A&M quail as soon as outside cage or hutch is built. Any thoughts on a good local egg supplier, Arizona? Well, Michael Rose is in Phoenix, Arizona. That's Southwest Game Birds. You can get dotted whites from him. I believe he has them. Those are what most people are referring to when they say Texas A&M quail. Texas A&M is just a moniker for a white quail that the Texas A&M University was doing some studies with, but they're no longer around. Nobody's got them. Robin said the SSS hatched at a good ratio. Okay, cool. All right, so that makes sense. Yeah, but as far as different times for standard eggs versus eggs for jumbo birds, no, they hatch on day 17. Kyle says pretty much exactly. Oh, wait a minute, I missed one. Uh, Lavieth. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. This past weekend, I had 11 of 12 assorted for Rebecca. Cool. That's a decent hatch rate. Kyle says it's pretty much exactly like the Little Giant, only different manufacturer. Temp and humidity is very close to the secondary hygrometer. Cool. Yeah, once you get them dialed in, um, you know, incubator. I've seen some of the cheapest incubators out there work very well once you dial them in. But dialing them in, a lot of people don't. They think, okay, I plugged it in and let it run for 24 hours, 48 hours, and it held temperature, and they're considering that that's good. But when it comes to dialing in an incubator, you need to know exactly what the temperature is in every spot on that incubator and at every level, not just the center and the outside, but also, up high where the eggs are sitting if they're in an egg turner, and then down at the bottom when you pull the egg turner out, put them into lockdown on the tray on the bottom. Um, just a matter of 2 inches, and I proved that to myself with my Baratos. There is a definite temperature variation with the Baratos from when the eggs are in the turners to when you put the eggs into lockdown and they're on that bottom tray. Um, it's not enough to really make a difference on the hatch, but it's there. And as far as humidity, you need to know what your humidity does at all times. Whether it's if you've got a pump or no pump. If how many reservoirs do you need to fill up to get it to a certain humidity? What's your outside humidity outside the incubator? How that affects the humidity inside? There's just so much stuff when it comes to dialing in an incubator, and it's not really hard. It's just you just need to know that, because if you don't know it, then you're guessing at what problem may have arisen when you were incubating your eggs. So, and that's why a lot of people say, "Why did I get a bad hatch?" Well, I don't know, and I can't tell what was going on with your incubator. So yeah, and it changes all the time too. All right, where was I? Olive says, "Do people who do staggered hatches typically have a good hatch rate with quail?" Yeah, they can. I mean, I used to do staggered hatches all the time and got good hatch rates. So, Bob Cole says, "First incubation of the year on day 4. Cool. Hope you get a good hatch this time, Bob, and I hope you figured out what your altitude issues were out there." Robin says, "Didn't get the last jumbo from Rebecca, but just ordered 40 from here." Okay, cool. Laviathan, I can't say it, but oh, great! I already got some of those for my brooder. Oh, the heat bulbs, cool. Savage Daughter Farms in the house says, "Hello, everyone. Glad you could join us." Donald says, "Saving this video to come back to after next check when it's time to go incubator shopping." Thanks, y'all. Yeah, there's, like I say, the 3 incubators that I'll usually recommend to people who are, I guess, entry level, you call it, would be Barato, Brincies or Brinzia. And then if you want to spend a little more money and get a really good incubator, Hatching Time. They're some of the best out there. You cannot beat their humidity setup on that box. They even, in my eyes, they even outperform the GQF 1502. So. Donald says, "We have white quail living in College Station, Texas, so I guess they're Aggies in spirit." Okay. Olive says, "Are there more bully problems with birds in cages or aviaries? Assuming the ratios are good, of course. Once they start being a jerk, will changing the type of environment help, or is a bully always going to be a bully?" Yes and no. I mean, usually if you have aggressive birds, they're aggressive. That's why so many people cull aggressive birds, because you don't want those genetics in your line. But by a lot of people say change the furniture in the quail cage, basically change it up a little bit will sometimes work. I I don't think being in a cage is going to keep them, or it's going to make them any more aggressive than if they were kept in an aviary environment. Um, I've never had any problems with either. Well, I did back when I first started, but I got rid of those lines and haven't had any problems with. Yeah, every once in a while you get one that wants to be an idiot, but just call them out and continue on. Savage Daughter Farm says I had 11 of 12 for my thieving otter eggs as well. Cool. Bob says I put a couple ThermPro in the egg turners, obviously at egg level. Yep, that's the way to do it. Savage Daughter Farm says I have two little giants. I have temp humidity gauges in all four corners and center. They're always at least a degree from each other. Yeah, and that's exactly what you got to do. You've got to know what your incubator is doing inside. I mean, obviously you can't see temperature, and obviously you can't see humidity. So by putting some calibrated hygrometer thermometers in there, at least you know that it's always telling you what's happening inside the box. Dane says, I'm using the deep litter method in my aviary, also using a hoop coop, but I think I'm going to be building a bigger one that has hanging rollout cages for breeders and all the grow outs on the deep litter. Yeah, sounds like a good idea. I love the deep litter method. I've never tried it before. Katie Galley out of Australia turned me onto it, and I did that in my aviary when I first set it up out back for the quail, and it worked great. I mean, it's amazing. I wish we could come up with an idea for keeping the birds inside. Trying to get rid of the smell and whatnot, but. Savage Daughter Farm says you can pick and choose your good spots, but honestly, forced air is much better. I agree. Even with the forced air, like the Barados, they actually say in the manual to rotate your eggs. It's a forced air incubator, but they say to rotate your eggs from the outside to the inside of the incubator, and just keep rotating them out throughout the incubation process. I've never done that, and always had decent hatch rates. But for them to say it. They're basically admitting, yeah, we can have temperature variations inside the incubator. Savage Daughter Farm says much easier to clean as well. Absolutely. Hatching time compared to GQF. I would. GQF's going to hold more eggs, but you're also going to have some issues with. I guess with the turners and the hatching boxes, to where the hatching time is just slide the turners out, put your eggs in the hatching box, slide them back in, and the hatching time has the humidity beat big time on the GQF. I've never had the GQF, but I know a lot of people that have. Even one of my bee breeders, she's a queen breeder. She used to use a GQF to incubate her queen cells, and I hooked her up with hatching time. And matter of fact, we just did a little conference a couple weeks ago with hatching time, and she is going strictly with hatching time now, just because of the humidity, the way they've got it set up. She doesn't have to worry about the humidity. I guess humidity is really important when it comes to queen cells. So yeah, even hatching time is getting into the bee market as far as queen bee hatching goes. Buck said, I have seen you advertising hatching time incubator. Do you use one? I do. I have a CT60. It's their smaller one. But it does, I want to say, I don't know, 120 eggs, I think it'll hold. And yeah, I use it all the time when I'm hatching. I've got so many incubators. I mean, I have two Barados right now. I have two of those Chinese ones that they're boxed up. I really don't use them. And then I have two of the DIY boxes. So what I try to do is I'll try to incubate in the hatching time incubator and then lock down in the DIY boxes, just because it's so easy for me to clean them. I just take them outside and hose them out, and they're good to go. James says, I live in Tennessee and don't even add water or monitor the humidity, and so far I've never had an issue. Yeah, a lot of people are in that position, humidity wise, where they don't have to. I could probably get by with never adding water. I could probably just, set my eggs and let them go, and they would be just fine. But I go the first 14 days with no water. When I go into lockdown, I'll fill up 2 of the trays on my incubators, or 2 of the reservoirs, and it usually gets it up to about 60%, 60, 65. I always get good hatch rates. Donald says Texas A&M students call themselves Aggies. Okay. I get you now. So we have unofficially A&M quail is what I meant. Sounds cool. Andy Rabbit says Texas A&M made the spotted white famous. They have done that. And I mean, there's nothing really wrong with calling them Texas A&M. It's just a lot of people don't, especially newbies. They come in, they hear, that somebody's selling Texas A&Ms. If they would say, I'm selling Texas A&M, aka the dotted white, I could see that. But yeah, I mean, it's just a name, who cares? Corey says, thank you for everything you are doing to help the community. You really helped me take my first steps towards keeping livestock. Well, cool. Glad the channel's working for you. Quail Ridge Ranch says, thank you so much for your time. I've seen some of your videos and they're extremely helpful. Absolutely. Bob says, I have a wool blanket to cover my brinzy. It helps equalize the temps. I scrunch it up to expose the vent. I also put an incubator on a 2-inch foam to insulate the bottom. Good idea. Yeah, I'm real interested, Bob, in how your hatch goes this time, because I know you've been having some problems out there. Dustin says, process for incubating 2 different patches of quail eggs weeks apart in the same incubators is straightforward or not a good idea? No, you can do it. I mean, I used to do staggered hatches all the time. Basically, just, you put your first hatch in, and then say a week later, put your second batch in. And then when the first hatch goes into lockdown, but see, I was using 2 boxes. So when I went into lockdown, that first tray would come out, go over into the lockdown box, and then, the second one. But if you're going to be locking down in the same box, the only issue you might have is when you bump the humidity up for the first batch that's going to hatch out. The second batch may absorb, a little bit too much water. They're not evaporating enough water out of the eggs. So that could be an issue. If I was in that position to where you're only using 1 box, I would probably opt to use a lower humidity during lockdown. Say something right around the 50-55% range. That's still enough to get your first eggs to hatch, yet not so high to affect the second batch. Bob says, thanks as always for helping the quail breeder people. Absolutely, Bob. Corey says, my lawn is a few acres of lush grass on lots of bugs. Is it possible to raise a tractor of a couple dozen on pasture only after giving them a head start with feed? You can, if you can make a quail tractor, to put your birds in and move them around every once in a while, that would be fine for them. Make sure that it's predator proof. Keep in mind that animals can burrow underneath your tractor to get in, but I would not cut them back on feed. They need the feed diet to or the feed to keep their diet balanced. I wouldn't depend on just pasture raising them. Child of God says, missed it. Yeah, actually, we're just about done. Olive says it's still going. Child of God, so we'll finish off. Go back to the beginning. Jesse says, anyone having trouble with hatching time cages? I have 2 stories and top level stop getting water. I've added a separate water system, so both levels have their own lines now, and it seems to be working. All right, Jesse, here's the issue with hatching time cages, with their watering system. You have to burp the system out really well when you first set it up, and you have to make sure that water reservoir never runs out of water, because if it does, you're getting water back into the lines, and even though you fill the reservoir back up, when you have water that's in the, you got a vertical line coming down like this and then lines coming off on the side, Well, the air comes down, it gets trapped inside these here, the sidelines, and birds aren't getting water. So the best thing to do is burp the lines really, really well. Another problem hatching time has, this is their water line. This is the nipple. They're set up as vertical nipples. If you pop the end off that line and look in at that nipple goes all the way up to the top of that tube. So that means that tube needs to be filled 100% with water, or that nipple is not going to have water in it. So what I did was I popped the ends off the tubes, the little T-fitting, and I put in horizontal nipples. That way, the pipe only has to be filled halfway up with water in order for the nipple to get water. I brought that up with hatching times. I don't know how many times. They were telling me that they were going to change out the nipples, and that they improved the water system. They did improve the way they thread the pipe, because a lot of people were complaining that the thread, there was still some pieces of plastic in there, and when you filled up a water system, the bird would peck at it, that plastic would get stuck behind the nipple and drain the water system into the cage or into the trays. So they kind of fixed that problem, but they still haven't really addressed the problem of the vertical nipples. But I did do a video on the channel. You can check it out. It's I think it's called Hatching Time Watering System, something like that, which shows you how I put the horizontal nipples in. Quail Ridge Ranch says, any idea why Southwest Game Birds won't be shipping quails anymore? Their website says, we do not expect to have any additional birds available for the foreseeable future. Yes, Michael has some family stuff going on right now. I'm not going to say what it is, but he's got some changes that are going to be happening, and right now quail just don't fit into that, for where he's at. But he does, well, I better not even say that. As far as I know, he does plan on getting back into quail, but it's after he's taken care of a few things, and I don't want to say too much because Michael told me, but I don't want to, I don't know how much he wants the public to know right now. So, but yes, that's basically why he's not selling anything anymore. But if you want Southwest Game Birds lines, just get a hold of Rebecca over at Thieving Otter Farm. She has all his bloodlines, and she's keeping it true. She's breeding it the way Michael would have bred it. So, it's not like his lines are gone. Andrew Abbott says that's because Southwest Game Birds went out of sale to the public. Yes, he did stop selling hatching eggs to the public, and then he, for a while, sold live birds to the public, but I don't even know if he's doing that anymore. If his website says that he's pulling the plug on that, that's most likely because his plans are moving up a little bit. So, okay, Andy says Texas A&M is just like saying Terry's Bees is the farm that raises them. Yeah, I guess. I think it's Texas A&M. I mean, it just stuck. Back in the day when Texas A&M was doing their little studies with the Texas with the dotted whites, trying to make a white meat bird for whatever. I don't know. All I know is it failed, so that's why they discontinued the project. But yeah, it just stuck. Everybody says, "Well, I got Texas A&M." To me, it's no different than saying, I've got JMF jumbos. Yeah, JMF jumbos are still out there. There's one breeder that can still sell them using the JMF moniker, but the bloodline is still there. So yeah, to me, it's just a name thing. Andrew Rabbit says, Jesse, you might need to clean the tubing out. Yep, do that. Savage Otter Farm says, I agree with Terry. Unless they are a full free one, which is impossible with quail, you can't really raise them on a pasture. They typically don't return and are sitting ducks for predators. Absolutely. Buck Reynolds says, I'm looking at their 120, but they are high. If you're talking about the hatching time boxes, they are a little bit more expensive, but I can tell you they are well worth it, especially if you are going to be using your incubator, quite a bit. Mine for a while there was running, 24/7 around the clock. It just never shut down, and it worked perfectly. Jesse says, okay, thanks. I know you did a video. I'll look at more into that. Thank you. Absolutely. Andy Rabbit says, oh, yeah, I haven't used the hatching time water tubes. I just hooked up cups for my cages. Steve says, thanks for the water system tip for hatching time. Just did my setup and had a dickens of a time. Yeah, like I say, that's why I did that video on swapping out the vertical nipples for the horizontal, because I too had, when I had all my hatching time setups, I woke up a few times with flooded cages. I woke up to cages with dead birds inside because they weren't getting any water. And so we did a little research and found out what the problem was, and I rectified the problem. Anita Garrett's in the house. Is late again. Glad you could join us, though, Anita. Anita, when you get a chance, doesn't have to be today, but give me a call. I want to talk to you a little bit about that new boxes that we're using for the bees. Bob says, how are your bees? They're doing great. The two swarms that I caught are doing good. One's a little bit smaller than the other one, but I like that smaller one. It's a really good, I call them survivor bees, because those bees have been at a friend's business, living in the wall of his business for the past 7 years. So those are survivors. Those are bees that survive with no treatments whatsoever, and that's the line that I really want to get going. Olive says, white meat like the feathers or the actual meat? I think they were actually working on trying to get an actual white meat bird, even though they couldn't do it because it's a dark meat bird, but they could work on getting a lighter dark meat bird, I guess you'd say. Let's see. They've got our farms in the house. Hi, friends. Glad you could join us, Rebecca. We've been talking about you all night long, so I'm glad. No, I'm just kidding. I'm glad you're in here. A whole bunch of hi, Rebeccas. Andrew Rabbit says, we just got back home from eating dinner. LOL, everyone has passed out already. I hear you. And HP's in the house. It's better late than never. Glad you could join us, HP. Okay, Olive says, I was going to switch my coil over to mini cups, but new fear unlocked. I don't know what you mean by that. I had, my grow-out cages were all cups. The layer cages, the bigger cages were the nipples. All right, cool. That brings us down to the bottom of the list. For those of you who commented, I got to go over to this computer. We are going to give away some stuff tonight. And for those who popped in, Rebecca and HP, we're doing a giveaway tonight. All of our sponsors are going to be in this giveaway because we haven't done a live stream in so long. Tony Dunn, if you're still in the house, you are going to get some Thieving Outer Farm hatching eggs. Frederick, Orcutt, you are going to get some of H.P. Murray's eggs, which is Gopher Ridge Quail. Adam Foster, you're going to get Bryant's Roost eggs. And one more. What did I do there? I messed up. Gina Klatt. What do you want, Cookie? Gina Klatt, you're going to get a $50 Hatching Time gift certificate. All right. For those of you whose names I called, I need you to email me your shipping information. Make sure you, let me see here. I got to find my spot back there. All right, there we are. Make sure you send me your shipping information. Make sure I get a good phone number and a good email address. And I will forward that on to our sponsors and get your hatching eggs out to you as soon as possible. So let me check back in here. Actually, I don't know what happened. I don't have a moderator in there tonight. He normally puts this stuff in there for me. Thieving Outer Farms talking to HP. Robin says, have you tried or know anyone that has a Vivitz 120? Got it off Amazon. It works for me. To be honest with you, I've never even heard of it. And I don't know of anybody that's used it. Maybe somebody else in here does. Cool. Some hatch rate reports for Thieving Outer Farm. That's cool. Whole bunch of congratulations. Frederick says, awesome. Okay. That pretty much brings us down to the bottom of the list. Again, for those of you who we called your names, don't forget to email me your, that's what I was going to put up there. Email me your shipping information, and don't forget to include a phone number and an email address. Terry at coturnixcorner.com. I hope I spelled that right. There it is. There's my email address, so that's who you're going to send it to. So, again, I want to say congratulations to Claire, our winner. And for those of you who didn't see, I'll just put it up on the screen real quick. This young lady here is Claire. She won our Coturnix Kids program for her write-up. I'm going to go ahead and post this write-up over in the Coturnix Corner Facebook group for those of you who would like to read it. And, congratulate Claire over there or over on the coturnixcorner.com website. This is hard for me where I'm at. There I am. Okay. I think that about does it. So, guys, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. Sorry that I haven't been live in a while. Like I said, we've got company down. But hopefully by the end of April, we can get everything straightened out and I can get my quail operation going again. Again, don't forget to check out these little feeder cups. I'm going to put the link to his Andrew's Etsy page. I'll put that over on the Facebook group page for you guys. And you can check him out over on Etsy. So, guys, have a great night. I'm going to try to go live this Sunday on the Sunday morning musings. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully we'll be able to get that one done right. So have a great night, everyone. Thanks again, and we'll see you hopefully Sunday.